Thank you so much, Jackie. Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I am Tricia Sloma, and I am joined here in studio by Professor Joannes Westerink from the College of Engineering. So good to see you. Dr. Westerink is the Joseph and Nona Ahearn Professor of Computational Science and Engineering and the Henry J. Mossman Chairman of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering and Earth Sciences. Put that on a business card, right? Well, Dr. Westerink, welcome to Notre Dame Day. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for allowing me to join.
And it's remarkably touching to think back over the last few days. You just came back from the funeral of Mrs. Ahearn.
That's correct. Yeah, they're great friends of Notre Dame and just wonderful supporters and also wonderful role models for us.
Well, thank you for bringing that part of the story to Notre Dame Day today. Now, you are a world-renowned expert in the area of, I hope I get this correct, computational hydraulics. Am I doing okay?
That's correct.
Could you explain to our viewers what that really means?
Computational hydraulics really combines two things. First of all, hydraulics is really the motion of fluids. And for civil and environmental engineers, that's really water. And so we're thinking about things like water flow in rivers, in lakes, along the ocean, in the ocean, and it affects us in a lot of ways. For example, the structures we build. How does it, what kind of forces does it put on bridge piers? On an offshore oil platform, what kind of forces are you dealing with there? They're enormous. And so we need to understand what the forcing environment is. We need to also understand how water gets delivered into the areas that we use water. So how much fresh water do we have available to us? And hydraulics encompasses that. So it's both the availability of water and what water can do to us that we care about.
Well, it's remarkably important, too. And I understand that you were very involved with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Expand on your efforts, if you would, please, to help rebuild the levee system there.
Sure. We work very closely with the Corps of Engineers, and they're responsible for flood protection and mitigation. And after Katrina, which of course caught people quite by surprise, the Army put together an investigation to really understand what happened. Why did the levees fail? Was it an exceptionally large hurricane? What was wrong with the system? And how could we rebuild it? And I was co-lead of that investigation in charge of hydrodynamics. And so what we did is we tried to get a good understanding of what happened. And afterwards, we were very heavily involved in redesigning the levees. And so what we actually did is we computed the levels to which the levees had to be built to give sufficient protection. And that varies quite a bit around the system, so you really want to understand where to put your money.
Certainly, for all of those residents that live there, my goodness, and thank you. Could you explain how civil and environmental engineers and earth scientists impact our lives every day?
Sure. Basically, our lives are touched in so many different ways. Think about the structures that we're sitting in right now.
Sure.
Think about how you got here, the transportation systems. Whether it's by car, you went over roads, bridges, maybe through a tunnel. Think about the airports or the ports and harbors that are used to transport commodities to our houses. Think about when you turn the tap of water and you get clean water, or the water that's used in agriculture or in industry. Those are all civil engineering and environmental engineering and earth scientists working on that. Also sewage, how much sewage we dispose of. And these days we're doing a lot better to dispose of it safely so that we don't pollute our environment or destroy the nature around us. And last but not least, energy. We're involved in wind energy, we're involved in mining, we're involved in offshore oil exploration, we're involved in nuclear fusion and fission. And so we're involved in so many aspects, I think, that give us a high quality of life.
Incredibly important work, and I thank you. We're really glad you're a part of it because you're bringing so much of that and so much of Notre Dame to reaches of the world.
Well, it's very much of a profession that's very altruistic. We really try to help humanity.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being a part of Notre Dame Day.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. We'll be back with more.